This female I wanted to talk about briefly today because this is going around. This is typical of the modern white female. She's on Bumble. She reveals that she has 6,200 matches with men on this website called Bumble, another dating website. Somebody can fill me in if it's more for dating versus just getting together for sex or whatever it is. 6,200 men. And she couldn't find one in 6,200. So she made a video of herself crying over it. Why is her life so hard? If white women are not endeavoring to peer pair, if they are not honest with themselves about where they fit on the actual spectrum and going to attempt and interview men around their level, then this is what you end up with. So people all the time talking about, over all the years, the deep arguments, the deep debates about who's actually at fault, who's actually for there being no families, women are responsible for that. Females are responsible for that. Take the responsibility. I was talking about this decades ago and it being problematic, that they're all focused on the top 10%. This female actually could not even find a guy in the top 10% of prettiest faces. What will happen for her now? As she continues, if she's the average case, what will happen for her now is that slowly the analogs for a pretty face will begin to hold more weight for her. So a lot of money, a lot of connections, big house, things like this will slowly start to have more weight. Now that she's been around that carousel quite a few times. 6,200 men. I could live hundreds of lifetimes, and not even come anywhere close to interest from 6,200 females. So this goes to, like we were talking about last month, where the girl was complaining, you have no idea how hard it is to have to deal with 30 men approaching her. What did she say? 300 men a weekend approaching her. Of course, that was hyperbole, but to saying with that hyperbole, hey, I get approached all the time. If you were a good person attempting to peer pair and start a real relationship with somebody that maybe would be able to stick it out with you and you all would be able to start a family, you would come nowhere close to that number because you'd have already found Mr. Right that first weekend. This is the abject sickness of females. So don't complain to guys ever again that the guys are flabby, they're not trying, they're in their basements. Go to hell. No shit. They're in their basements playing video games. Because they're showing up and they're like, hey, I'll happily take you out. I'll happily get to know who you are and see if we could work out together. And she's like, nope, you're not one of the top 10% of prettiest faces that probably she's had use her in the past. Can't find a decent one. Yeah, I'm sure that's the problem. I'm sure there isn't a decent guy there. I'm sure that's the actual problem. These same females, just to finish my point, when they are being used for a time by one of these guys with the prettiest faces, top 10% of their circles, they'll say, oh, no, it's not his looks. It's because he's funny. It's because he has a lot of confidence. Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence because everywhere he goes, women are ignoring over 6,000 men to get to him. That's kind of a confidence builder. You know what I mean? That's kind of a confidence builder. Suffice it to say that it's the fault of women that there aren't families. It's the fault of their actions that there aren't families, that people aren't getting married, that on and on, that guys are in their basements, that guys aren't trying. No, they're not going to try if they can't compete. No, they're not going to try. So what you all have done with this absolutely narrow beam, this absolutely narrow focus, what you've done is you've put them in the basement. All along, we were told when we were growing up, little boys, all along we were told by the females in our midst that guys only care about looks, that all that matters, these guys are so superficial. They reduce a woman to just her looks. They don't care about anything else, when the reality is the inverse. Guys can find 80% of women attractive enough for relationship. 80%. So we're not the ones that have a hyper focus on looks. We're pretty liberal when it comes. We can like this part or that part and the other part, and we can like it at different sizes and we can like it at all these different things. Females, we see the exact opposite. Hyper focus. 6,200 guys. What are the odds that there are no good guys in that 6,200?
TreeGodfather here with the rare voiceover, because I really wanted to add to what Jason was saying here. Too many of our girls today are seeking the unobtainable, perfection. They want the guy with perfect looks, who makes perfect income, who'll provide her with the perfect wedding and the perfect life. They've been sold an absolutely unachievable goal of perfection by people who have sown in them discontent at home in their youth and an unsatisfied life in their older years. Well, the perfect man doesn't exist. We're all human and subject to error. These women won't look beyond their own imperfections because, perhaps, they've lacked a strong male father in their childhood, a man capable of guiding them in what attributes really matter. Because beauty fades. Time and injuries can take it away, either slowly or instantaneously. They'll seek the guy that caters to their feelings rather than their realities. They lack humility and understanding that quarrels are part of marriage, and how you navigate and resolve those quarrels is far more important than whether you win them or walk away entirely. Relationships aren't about the man with the perfect face and the perfect house with a picket fence where nothing ever goes wrong. It's often sickness and ugly and unintended, unkind words. Rather than seeking the perfect man, they should instead seek to be a less than imperfect woman. Seek masculinity, not looks. Seek intelligence, not simple agreement. Seek long-term relationship success rather than short-term fun with men who are only interested in sex. Seek a man who can provide sustenance rather than simple materialistic riches, because you can build those together as you grow together. I promise you at the end, your cats will barely notice that you've passed, but your children will remember and celebrate that you lived. This is the essence of the most powerful building block of Western civilization, the family.